Jurassic Park Rebirth is getting absolutely destroyed in every review I've seen, and I just got out the movie, and honestly, I don't understand the hate. This is a spoiler review, so just a heads up. Now, obviously, the movie does start with a little bit over-the-top product placement for Snickers that does end up actually, pushing the plot forward, but it's also a little ridiculous. I made sure to go into this movie understanding it is a Jurassic Park movie, and I'm here for cool creature designs, scary moments, crazy situations, and really good action. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm hoping to get. And so I do recognize there's going to be a few contrived or just ridiculous plot elements or points that are going to happen that are going to make me question the validity of this story if it was being compared to other Oscar winners. That's not the point of this story, so I'm going to let it go. Which leads me into really my only real issues with the movie were when the father, his leg just miraculously got better midway through the movie, and it's like, well, why even present that if it's just going to not play a role whatsoever? Like, you could have just not have his leg break in that moment and just move forward. And then, of course, when Henry falls and he goes through the tree and lands in the water, I just feel like sometimes those types of falls just completely remove you from the realism. Obviously, dinosaurs, I get it. In a movie full of dinosaurs, for me, that was the most unbelievable moment, but it's a Jurassic Park movie. And the entire time I found myself feeling just excited to see what was going to happen. I wanted to actually see them obtain their objective. I wanted to see them collect those samples. I care. And there's so many different reviews saying, oh, we just don't care about this. There's just nothing here that really is interesting. Well, not really. This was an interesting story within a universe that we love, right? Like, isn't that what we're looking for? More intimate stories. Throughout the entire movie, I was just enjoying it. I found myself at the end when it ended fulfilled, happy. And go in there expecting to be given some incredibly scripted, incredibly thought out thriller. It's a Jurassic Park movie. It's supposed to be like a ride. I think we're losing sight of that you're supposed to go in there and have a good time. We've all become these armchair movie critics, right? Where we're all going in there just ripping it apart instead of going in there just to have fun. Now, getting back to the American family, their plot line, their story, I'm seeing a lot of people say there was no character arcs when the character Xavier probably himself experienced the biggest character arc. And I do have to admit, I appreciate the fact that I was for sure and was hopeful that Xavier was going to get eaten in that first scene. His character arc, I genuinely appreciate his character at the end. But that scene when the boat turned over, that was something I felt like we hadn't seen in Jurassic Park yet. That was so terrifying to think that you were just stuck in the middle of water with these massive dinosaurs around you, and to think what they could have done to you. I thought they did that really well. The intensity there was held up. So what that the other boat was close by? I mean, it's a story. Stories happen because unlikely things happen between their events and during their events. That's what makes them stories. I like the father. I understood the dynamic there. Didn't really find myself complaining about them being on screen. And I've always felt like Jurassic Park included these family type characters, one to do things that just average dumb people would do who are freaking out in those situations, and so they kind of represent us. But there are definitely a few times, like when they jumped off the boat, that made no sense to me. I thought when Scarlett yelled back, and what are you doing? Like, don't jump, and they just went for it. That was a wild sequence. The product placement was too much. It was too much. It was everywhere. I mean, numerous scenes in this movie you could tell were done specifically to get chips and candy in our faces. It was so much, and it almost makes me feel like that when you have that much product placement in your movie, it almost makes you wonder if like this is a last-ditch cash grab and they know this series is dying, which it kind of is. Editor's note here, this movie just passed over $600 million worldwide, so they are not struggling, and there will be a lot more of these movies. One thing I was really questioning going into the movie was just how someone as small as Scarlett Johansson, 5'4", how could she really be the person you go to in a dinosaur-infested area? She did a good job. She really is an awesome actress. I thought she did a really good job being the leader. There are those moments where the entire journey could have fallen apart, and you can just tell she's like, nope, I've been here, we're doing this, let's get together, let's go. And that was cool. Her relationship with Henry I thought was pretty genuine. It didn't feel like they had to take away from his masculinity to build her up. It felt like he was a pretty badass dude himself, someone that could handle himself, but at the same time was a scientist in a museum, so he could really only had so much experience, but he wasn't a coward. For example, when he took out those Altoids, I got so nervous that it was basically going to be like anxiety medicine. It was like, oh my gosh, but it wasn't. It was Altoids. And that actually reminds me, the comedy in this movie, it was a little bit of a miss. Like when Xavier made the joke of, oh, we're going to go this way instead. It didn't just quite hit like I felt like it could have. And that is my dog dreaming right behind me. And then the Altoids eating, the one time, maybe 2 times, I don't know. I guess it was a good scare, and I get it, but I didn't really like that. It seems like this is one of those situations where I recognize a lot of the plot is a little silly, a lot of dumb things had to happen, but it was put together well, it's edited well. I understand maybe people not thinking it's a great movie, but if you see the just vitriol and hate going towards this movie, I was genuinely jaw-dropped with my dad, because we walked out of there like, that was fun. I enjoyed that. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Like, how is this movie being so ripped apart? Like, did you genuinely hate this movie? Am I one of the only people who thought this movie was enjoyable? enjoyable. I'm not saying it's great, but like a 7 out of 10, right? Like, it can't be that bad. It's interesting how much value some people put into different parts of the filmmaking process. For example, a lot of people care about writing, everything that happens before those, those cameras start rolling, while there's people who care so much about exactly what happens while the filming is happening, in the moment, the way the filming's happening. And then there's the people who care about the movie in the editing room. Everyone values a different part of the filmmaking experience, and because of that, we all have different opinions on certain movies. All right, that's enough yapping for today. Let me know in the comments what you thought. I appreciate you watching. Hit that subscription button, turn on notifications, click one of these links on the channel that you see right here. Let me know what you think of those videos. I appreciate you. Go out there and do something great.